All right, so today's date is 3/24/21. Make sure you're writing down the dates so when you turn in pictures, you turn in the right one. I still have kids turning in the wrong note pages, which is, I don't understand. All right, so today we're going to do what is called proportional tables. Okay, so these tables are proportional. I am telling you 100% these tables are proportional. Next week, I give you a table and you have to determine if it's proportional. That's next week. Today, all of your tables are proportional. All right? So the only information that you are given is a table. And from a table, you got to figure out everything else. So let's say I'm baking apple pies, my favorite. I'm baking apple pies, so there's a science to it. If pies and apples, pies will be my X, apples will be my Y. If I bake one apple pie, I'm going to need 3 apples for the filling. If I bake 2 apple pies, I'm going to need 6 apples. If I bake 3 apple pies, I'm going to need a total of 9 apples. If I bake 5 apple pies, I'm going to need a total of 15 apples. Okay? So the first thing I'm going to ask you is, okay, what's the constant of proportionality? In other words, what is K equal to? And then I'm going to ask you, well, what's the equation? And remember, your equation starts with Y equals. So, any wild guesses out there of what would be, just given this, what would be your constant of proportionality? As in, what's your unit?
3.
Yeah. Yes.
3.
Yes. 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 You guys are awesome. How'd you guys get 3 though? Who can tell us, how did you guys get 3? Because there's a different ways to getting this, so I'm curious to what's one way that you saw.
Because in apples is a 3, and every time we go one more up, we just keep on adding.
Yeah. So.
Daddy.
Okay. So there is.
Where's mom going?
I don't know where mom is going, but I would appreciate you putting yourself
Oh,
on mute.
okay.
Bruh. Hold on. Wait for it. Hold on. So where did mom go? Did they tell you where mom went? I'm curious. Everyone wants to know, where did mom go?
All right, let's hear the truth.
The beauty of it, it's recorded. So if you play this YouTube video, you'll hear it. And we'll be all chismosos. Okay, so you saw here that you went up by 3. Is that what you were saying?
Yeah.
Okay, so yes, it does work. But break time, does it go up by 3 here?
No, it goes up by 6 there.
Right. Why did it not work here?
It goes up by 6 because you skipped 4.
Right here, we skipped, right? So be careful. So because sometimes when they give you they gave you this table. I know you copied it, but it was already filled out for you. You didn't create it, right? We didn't go back and fill it in. So be careful. If it jumps, if it doesn't go in order, be careful on the bottom, right? Be careful, because sometimes it doesn't. But this is one way of finding your unit rate. Your constant of proportionality. What are you adding by? So that's one way. Did anybody find it a different way? Okay, so my second period, one of my students like, Miss Amelie, this is how I found it. I'm like, yes, I'm listening. They looked at where the 1 is on the X. And they're like, Miss Amelie, if you have a 1 on X, whatever your Y is, that's your constant of proportionality. And I was like, Boom, mind blown. You're right. So when you have x is 1, whatever y is, that is your constant of proportionality. Okay? So if x is 1, whatever y is, that's your constant of proportionality. Look, it's 3. Now, this is maybe new for some of you. Maybe you've seen it, but this is what you're going to use today. Pay attention, because this is what you're going to use today. Ask yourselves. Well, you already know the answer, so it should be easy. What did you multiply the x by to get to y? What magical number did you multiply 5
3.
to get to 15?
3.
3. What did you multiply 3 to get to 9?
3.
3.
3.
2 times 3? 6. 1 times 3? 3. So your constant of proportionality is also visible by asking yourself, what did you multiply x to get to y? What did you multiply x to get to y? Oh, I multiplied by 3. Okay? So my unit rate, my constant of proportionality is 3. Look how many times 3 appears. It's everywhere. So we're adding by 3, except for this one. We're multiplying by 3 when we go top to bottom. And then right here where x is 1, that's also your constant of proportionality. So that's why constant of proportionality is so important, because it's everywhere and you're going to use it everywhere. But if you get it, if you don't do it correctly, well, then everything's wrong. Okay, so my equation is y equals 3x, right? All you do is you just literally put this number in there. Boom, you're done. It always starts with y, always ends with x. Done. All right, let's do another table. X, Y. Let's see, I'm going to make the color K. Okay, I have a question in the chat that says, what does K stand for? K stands for constant of proportionality. They didn't use C and they didn't use P. They came up with the letter K. So don't ask me why it's K, but in seventh grade, they'll use K to stand for constant of proportionality. Like if you get this on a test, they'll write it out like, use K for constant of proportionality. Or they'll be like, what is the constant of proportionality? And they'll put like in parentheses K. So K stands for constant of proportionality. Okay, it's your unit rate. In sixth grade, you called it unit rate. In seventh grade, we're fancy. We're fancy people now. Okay, we call it constant of proportionality. And in eighth grade, it changes. It's called something different. I know. Don't you just love math? That's what math is so hard. It's like, can't you just keep it the same? No, we got to confuse you. You're welcome. In eighth grade, it changes. We use a different letter and we call it something different. Yeah, you're welcome. It's great. Okay, back to this problem. X and Y. Let's pretend we're in art class and we need to paint something and we need to paint it green. But you look in your watercolors and you're like, oh, I don't have green. I don't have green. So I have to mix the color blue with the color yellow to make green, right? Have you guys ever, done that? Some like mixed colors and you come up with a different color, right? I came up with black because I mixed them all up. It's fine. All right, so let's say we have 2, 6, 9, 4. Okay, so then the number is 4, 8. Oh, sorry. 4, 12, 18, 8. Okay. So this is where it gets like a little bit harder, but not really. You don't have a 1 on X, right? You don't have a 1 on X. You're like, darn, I can't look for the 1. If I do this shortcut, like, okay, what did I add to 4 to get to 12? I added 8. Well, did I add 8 to go from 12 to 18? No. And here I went down. I went down by 10, right? So it's all over the place. Do you guys see that? So I'm here, I'm adding 8, I'm adding 6, I'm minusing 10, right? Why is that? Well, there's a couple reasons. One, they're out of order. Do you see the top? They're completely out of order, and we're skipping a whole bunch of numbers, right? So what does that mean? Well, when it comes to doing like, oh, what am I adding by? I can't do it. I can't do that shortcut, okay? So we have to rely on other ways of finding the constant of proportionality. I don't have a 1.
Miss Amelie, but when you times it by 2, then you get the bottom number.
Right, so that's what I'm getting to. So I'm telling you, like, you can't do it this way, which we all love to do. I'm like the first one to do it. And then you don't see a 1, so you can't do it that way, right? So those are like the first 2 things I taught you. Today, I taught you just like what you were telling me, right? You look at these numbers and you go, okay, what did I multiply the top x by to get to y? What did you multiply 2 to get to 4? What magical number?
2.
2. And then you check all of them. 6 times 2, does that give me 12? Yep. 9 times 2, does that give me 12? Yep. That gives me 18. 4 times 2, yep, that gives me 8. So they all check out. I'm multiplying by 2. So this magical number is called your constant of proportionality, which is a fancy word for unit rate, which means K is 2. How did I get to? It's this magical number that I multiplied by. What is my equation? What's my equation? My equation is y equals 2x. How do we feel about this? Are we okay? Do we understand what we're... So today, the new part is this, that I'm multiplying something to x to get to y, and it's all the same. And it's super cool that it's all the same because it's a constant of proportionality. Okay, let me give you one more before we get started. All right, here's this funny table with some big numbers, small numbers. It doesn't even tell you what x and y is. It just tells you x and y. You're just like, wow, there is like no information here. There's like 0. But the question is, okay, what's your constant of proportionality, which is K, and then what's your equation? And you're like, okay, cool, yeah. Oh, they're not in order, right? Some of them are in order. There's no 1. Darn. All right, so what I got to do is I got to ask myself, what did I multiply the top to get to the bottom? And my advice to you would be pick the pair that's easy to work with. Don't pick the big numbers. You know, pick the smaller numbers. Ask yourself, okay, how did I go from 2 to 12? 2 times what is 12? 2 times 6. Oh, okay, let me make sure it's all times 6. 10 times 6? Yup, 60. Okay, that was easy. I can multiply by 10 times 6. 6 times 6. Oh no, let me check my multiplication table. 6 times 6. Oh yeah, 36. Okay, cool. 6 times 7. Oh God, I don't know what that is. Gosh, oof, let me get my calculator. 6 times 7. Boop, bop, boop, beep, boop. Oh, 42. Oh, okay, cool. So they all are being multiplied by 6. And notice, I didn't start with the first pair. I went to the smallest pair. It's okay. You're showing your work. So the unit rate is 6. The equation is y equals 6x. Okay? This whole thing is called your equation. This right there is called your constant of proportionality. Okay. All right. Do you guys see how I did this problem right here? This is exactly how I want you to do your classwork. You're going to copy down the table. You're going to tell me what K and the unit rate are. K and the equation are. But what I'm really checking with like a magnifying glass is what did you multiply by? I'm looking for this. I'm looking for this is what I call the work. If you literally just do this, you get 0 points. I want to see where you copy down the table and where you like, Miss Amelie, look, the magical number is times 6, and I checked that they all multiplied by 6. This is like the work I want to see. But Miss Amelie, it's times 2. It's the easiest thing in the world. Yeah, I know. I know it is. I still want you to tell me that you multiplied by 2, but like, oh, he figured it out. She figured it out. She's just multiplying by 2. Got it. I see her work. Okay? That's what I want to see.